Hiya, and welcome back to Password, the game that teaches us. I can't think of anything, honestly can't think of anything. Also, hiya, Pack. Let's put pizza boxes in the Discord to haunt me. No! The game that teaches us that Roswell is a little suspicious. The fucking pizza box. I will never forget it. I will never forget it. I swear to God, if y'all put pizza boxes in the Discord server, I'm going to cry. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Think I'm lying, but I'm not. I will cry. The weather seemed nice enough, mostly clear. The sun was out without it being too warm. If anything, it was a little windy, but it was a gentle sort of breeze that seemed to perpetually run by us. Orlando, with his hands in his pockets, wandered away from the house towards the trees. I wasn't sure if he was aware I was behind him or not, but I followed all the same. Eventually, we came across a clearing, and Orlando sat himself down before laying back on the grass with a sigh. Coming? Oh, right. I followed suit, laying down next to him and looking up at the canopy above. It's nice out here, huh? Under the trees? Just out of the city, away from everything. The breeze continued to blow past us, and for a brief moment I forgot about everything happening back at the mansion. So, how's your walk? Oh! It was fine, I guess. I looked over to Orlando, seeing him troubled and fiddling with his hands. Hiya. What's wrong? Well, sorry if I call you out on something, right? Like, I'm not a jerk for doing it. Depends. With a sigh, Orlando looked across to me before dipping his gaze away. To be honest, you're stressing me out a bit. The box eats you and makes pizza with your remains. No. Pizza box horror, as in, you never forget how a character covered his dick up with a pizza box. I have seen that shit. Every single person who has played Sileo Tales of a New Dawn has seen that shit, and it is terrifying. Back to the story. Sir, the thing with the vault and thing what we've seen is good enough reason, but you coming out with potentially being killed after your walk? Well, normally it'd be me doing the nervous chuckle, but maybe I'd rubbed off on Orlando with how he let one loose, scratching his neck. You say that you could have been killed, but you went off on your own anyway, right? You seemed to know what I was planning this morning, though. Yeah, and what am I supposed to do? Totally be a sad sack in bed? Well, no. Look, I'm your best friend, Dave. I know you. You'll flip a bitch. I saw how giddy you got when Dean first asked you out. I saw how distraught you got when you thought you'd forgotten my birthday. And now, I'm just worried that you're going to shut down like you did when... He glanced at me, not wanting to say it. When my dad died. Right. I haven't forgiven myself for not being more proactive and trying to make you feel better. But to be honest, after you were quiet after a week just sitting in the corner, I was scared. I have witnessed that shit. No, Damien Dayson just explained it. He just explained what had happened. That is the horror, and it is terrifying. Scared. It was bad enough that I couldn't go to the funeral, Dave, and now I just let him rant, working himself up to tears. I wasn't sure if he was more worried about me or disappointed with himself. So pizza had... No, so the pizza had extra sausage. No! Hi, and welcome back... Hi, and welcome back to Theta Dog. This whole thing that teaches us that this is literally just a speed run to get banned. Hold his Orlando C. Okay. Carefully, I reached down and took his hand in mine, giving it a gentle squeeze. Dave. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Sorry. I'm just worried that I'm going to lose you. Lose me? Right, you were such a happy guy. That was the guy that you... What? Hiya. Orlando growled, clutching his head in his hands. I care about you. I care about you a whole lot. His voice dropped lower, almost into a terrified whisper, turning his head to look at me proper. Dave? Yeah? You're a treasure to me. A treasure that I like seeing shine and sparkle. More than any other gemstone in the family vault. More than any bar of gold I've gotten to polish. If you put a pizza box on Roswell. See, the pizza box has to do a specific... The pizza box has to be doing a specific thing. Losing you, it's terrifying. You see me as a treasure? Yeah, not like you're an object, but just something I want to keep safe. Color dragon instincts kicking in. I think it's my version of Dean tending to flowers, I guess. If I smother you, that's bad, but look out and care for you? Absolutely. Orlando. My thoughts were swimming, a warm feeling welling up in my chest. It was flattering for sure, but maybe it was something more than that. And if that means I need to teach you what I know about landing a man, then I'll do it. Really, I don't mind. If anyone was nude in this game and they were covering their junk, who would it be and why? I think it would be Dean. It would either be Dean or Tyson, I feel like. Except Tyson wouldn't bother covering anything. Wow, how did we get onto this topic? I think it'd be Dean. Wait, what? Yeah, you know, with you and Dean. Dean has pizza box energy. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh. Right. What's wrong? Nothing. Just... I shook my head, the feeling now gone. Or maybe not. Maybe not gone, but buried for the time being. You're that worried about me? Ever since I messed around with the vault, I guess my senses have been in overdrive. It's kind of the same as me, really. Seen enough from that thing for a lifetime. Top favorite of Vian, I've done, and also the least 3. Top 4, least 3. That's a tough one. You're braver than me. I stopped after seeing just you. But you went back for a second helping. And I don't even know why. Orlando rubbed his neck, shooting me a glance before looking away. He was troubled by something, and I was growing more curious. Orlando, what did you type into the vault? The moment I stopped talking, he slowly turned to look at me, unimpressed. If you're asking what I think you're asking, I am. I want to know. I'm not telling you, end of story. What about what you saw? I'm not telling you that either. But why? How can I keep myself safe if I don't know it's dangerous? Because I'll keep you safe. You don't need to worry. So what? You're just going to keep watch over me every second of every day? No, I guess not. So I told you what I saw. Why can't you tell me? Orlando brought a hand up to his mouth as he thought, brow furrowed. His gaze was drawn elsewhere, almost as if he was trying to focus. When he spoke, his voice was quiet but level, slowed as if he was readying himself for what he was about to say. All right. It's burned into my mind, though I can remember. Orlando is gaslighting, gatekeeping, girl bossing. He is a girl boss. Was it bad? He said hanging by the rafters, so... No, I don't think it was suicide. Not how you're looking. How was I looking? If not a noose, then... I could barely hear what he came out with next, his voice cracking and trembling. Oh, hiya. Meat hook right through, you know. He pointed to his neck, shuddering. Rannoch was covering his junk with a pizza box. Does it still turn you on? Oh! I found myself paling at the thought, too. It was one thing to assume it was a noose, but a meat hook? Remembering when sometimes Dad would go to the butcher and bring me along with the big hunks of meat suspended from the ceilings, sausages too. Mentally putting myself in the place of anything I remembered from that shop made me whimper softly. My eyes darted around, wondering if I just misheard him. Meat hook? It was gross and scary, but there was an upside. About the meat hook. Kinda. I've been looking around the mansion for any room that looks similar. Even a meat hook, and nothing. So, maybe we're safe? What did the room look like? Oh. Well, old, rundown. Would have guessed it would be somewhere in the basement with how dirty it was. But no luck. No luck, which is a good thing, right? So long as I don't find a room like that, we should be in the clear. But please, maybe don't go wandering off by yourself. I'll try and remember. If you're going to kick up a fuss about everyone sticking together and don't for a second think that that wasn't the reason you want to do pumpkin carving, then at least don't be a hypocrite about it. I chuckled, nervous, grimacing upwards while I kept my gaze away from Orlando's judging stare. But it's pizza. Everyone eats pizza. Oh no! Yeetin' pizza? Oh no! Okay, fine, I promise. What word was it anyway? The one I used for you didn't work when you typed it in, so no harm in telling me, right? Well, I suppose given that there's no harm in it. Still, if it does work, just don't freak out, alright? Okay. Sacrifice. Sacrifice? Why that? I was thinking along the lines of what sort of things you need to give up to get something of value. I tried the obvious first, but when I thought about it in gaming terms, well... He sighed out, reaching up above and flexing his fingers, his tone shifting towards sadness. Then I blacked out, saw that, and when I came to, I was laying on the floor with the start of a headache. Did you hit your head? My top 3 visual novels. That's a tough one. Hang on, I'm gonna have to think for a second. Top 3. These are all for personal reasons. Number 3 is Extracurricular Activities by Dinewolf. And that's only because it holds a special place in my heart, as it is the game that introduced me to furry visual novels. Number 2 would probably be Remember the Flowers. Remember the Flowers is just goated. Remember the Flowers is amazing. And number 1, this should not surprise anyone at all. Number 1 is Echo. Seriously, that should not surprise anyone. Like, I am constantly just saying, oh yeah, my favorite visual novel is Echo. You should totally read Echo. You want a good visual novel to read? Read Echo. It is amazing. It is one of the best ones ever written. But I will say this, Echo is fucking boring. It's boring as hell. It's like, Echo is amazing. It is an amazing visual novel. But it's fucking boring. Like, try to sit down and read it all in one sitting. You fucking can't. It's boring as hell. For the first sections. Like, the first several sections, it's boring as hell. But then you actually get to, the scary shit. And it's slightly less boring as hell, depending on which route you're going down. It is either going to be zero rest, like no rest, or boring as hell. Did you hit your head? No, I don't think so. It's more like when I've been listening to music too loudly. Only lasted a little bit, a minute at most. Then it was gone. Have you gone back since? I shook my head, shifting uncomfortably on the grass. Chase is a piece of shit, like Ross. Chase is a piece of shit! Carl, though. Carl is amazing. Not since Benson. Why? I've snuck back a couple of times, only to try one word at a time, but nothing. Okay, but why? If you were so uncomfortable the first time, what made you go back? Sometimes the scariest thing is not knowing. It's why all the stuff that Rothwell's into is so creepy. Is it real? Is it not? You take less issues with them being scary than just being real. Chase, the first hated MC. You're not wrong. If I knew that ghosts were real, I'd, maybe try talking to my ancestors. They might know what to do. Or if demons were real, I'd know what to prioritize as far as keeping myself and others safe, right? I guess so. A gun or a knife, it doesn't matter, but a weapon used without purpose and against a foe you know nothing about is a fool's errand. Okay, I'm going to explain this. Jenna? Jenna, it depends on the circumstance. She's either an amazing character or a total bitch. It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. Carl is Carl. That's the best way to describe him. He's a stoner. Leo is a sociopath. And I swear to God, I keep seeing this on Twitter or X. Twitter, or I guess X now. People are like, oh, Leo, he's amazing. And it's like, no, he isn't. Clearly, you can't see his red flags through your red sunglasses. Oh, what color are those flags that are all over his fur? Oh, they're red. TJ is precious and must be protected at all costs. And Flynn is an asshole. The fool's errand. It'd be like, I don't know. Who has red flags? The red one. Attacking a werewolf with just a butter knife? I think I remember Rothwell mentioning you need silver for that. I see. How the hell did I get off on this rant on Echo? I guess that makes sense, but can I ask you something? Anything? You're not scared of Ty because of werewolves, are you? No? Okay, maybe a little bit. Is that silly? Rothwell put the idea into my head one day. The whole reason she's a bitch is because she only went out with the otter because she doesn't like Leo. Yeah? Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. He doesn't even deserve a name. Chase doesn't even deserve a name. It's now Otter. Okay, maybe a little bit. Is that Philly? Rothwell put the idea in my head one day. I laughed, grinning broadly. Ty doesn't get any crankier than I do if I don't get my coffee, promise. If you say so. He trailed off, leaving us in silence for a moment. That moment stretched into minutes before Orlando spoke again, his voice soft and calm. No, it's Otter. Hey, Dave. What? I'm glad we're friends. He took my hand in his, a peaceful smile on his face. Did we just get friend-zoned? We lay like that for a while, just enjoying each other's company. Occasionally, I'd look over to see him either looking up at the leaves and watching them sway, or with his eyes closed as if resting. We just got friend-zoned! Damn! That hurts! We got friend-zoned. Is this similar to Max, from Echo? Not Echo. Max from Heroes Advent? Like Max from Heroes Advent? The fucker who, we got double friend-zoned by Max. Max double friend-zoned us. We got double friend-zoned by Max. Hiya. We got double friend-zoned. That's surprising. He does love Sal. Yeah, the magical girl is new. Eventually, the wind started to grow cold as it got closer to dinner time. While it wasn't overly late, we didn't want to be out here when it went dark and headed back inside to eat. He will love us back eventually. Yay! By the time dinner rolled around, we all filed into the dining room and sat down. I felt happier. at ease based on just how the day had turned out. It started low, but it ended up going alright. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. We will never fucking recover because we got friend-zoned. Ugh.
It's time to drink water.
So, what's for dinner?
It's time to drink water.
Wait.
It's time to drink water.
So, what's for dinner?
It's time to drink water.
Good question. Orlando? Rothwell volunteered the cook. Making what? I don't know, but he seemed ready to try at least. The piss-colored dragon just friend-zoned the best yeen. Okay, bye. Ah. He's not going to burn the place down, is he? Oh, I hope not. Worry enough about that whenever Thal's in the kitchen. Harsh. I'm not that bad, am I? I'm not the best, sure, but how hard is it really to set fire to the place? Surprisingly easy. I looked to Dean, who seemed primed to say the same thing, but backed down after Haas spoke up. You weren't so bad, though. You can do chicken. That's right, you can do hot oil, so you're fine. Nah, Yi needs more experience to woo Piss Dragon. Oh no. Is hot oil that dangerous? Oh boy. But can he cook, though? I think so. You could always go in and give him a hand tie. Nope. I'll take my turn cooking later. What can you cook, Tyson? Nothing fancy, but I get by. But what, though? Stew, toast, scrambled eggs. I guess I can grill meat. That's a pretty limited range. Well, at least you can make burgers. They're good burgers, at least. Hey, I like a good burger. Reckon we can put you on dinner tomorrow? Seriously? Yeah! And if you need help, I'm sure someone will be willing to lend a hand. Put me down to help. Really? Of course, shouldn't be too hard, right? There's what? Orlando started to count on his fingers. 9, right? 9? Why 9? Well, the 7 of us, plus Benson, plus, well, the owner of the house, right? Oh, right. Did I not say? Say what? Oh, I ran into Benson this morning, and apparently he's gone on vacation. Just like that? Apparently, yeah. Well, that would have been nice to know. Why didn't you say earlier? I guess I just got distracted, but good thing we know now, right? Well, can't complain about him getting some time off. Life of butler must be a full-time gig after all, right? That's true. Okay, 8 people, that's easy. Given how much Dean can put away and how big Sal is, probably going to be making enough for more than, 10. Probably. Is that bad, though? Doesn't bother me. Benson, the better otter. I would argue maybe not better than Cody from Northern Lights, but still pretty good. We continued chatting around the table until Roswell brought out food. Some sort of mushroom dish with rice. Apparently this was the stuff he'd gathered when he was out in the woods. Oh, it's risotto. Having eaten our fill, Dean leaned back in his chair, sighing out and looking to Roswell. So what was in that anyway? Just some of the mushrooms I picked in the woods. Nothing dangerous, I hope. Given how much I ate, I might be in trouble. They were fine, I promise you. Just some patty straws, nothing fancy, I promise. The rest were from the kitchen, from the grocery store, I'm assuming. What about the rice, though? Garlic and butter, right? Otherwise, it would just steamed rice, I think. Yep. So it was like a mushroom curry? More like a stew, I think. Sort of panicked and threw everything into a pot and tried to figure out what to make. There's still a little bit left, but probably not enough for another meal. I don't know. It tasted fine to me. Saw Roswell start to say something before forcing himself back, scratching his head instead. I'm not picky. I would eat that again. Same here. In any case, thanks for dinner, Roswell. Thanks, Dave. The hate club is going crazy. Don't let him eat the mushroom, might give him an extra life, oh no. Well, I'm going to clean up dinner. I made the mess, so may as well clean it. Can I help? It doesn't seem fair for you to do all the work.
Oh, well, if you want to. I'm not going to say no, but don't feel pressured to, honest.
I'll get done. It'll get done faster that way. I'll meet you in the kitchen.
Well, that makes things easy.
There was some showing of people stacking their plates to make the trip into the kitchen easier before the people started to peel away. I need to learn how to breathe better. With dinner behind me, I yawned. I didn't feel like I did much today, but I was for sure ready for bed. Can we give Roswell to Brian? I'm sure he will love him. Oh no! I wouldn't even wish that upon my worst enemy. I looked to my left and Orlando was standing next to me, stretching out his back. He shot me a smile and I looked away, remembering what we had talked about earlier. What's the matter? Nothing, just tired, you know? What, after you took it easy today? Thought that would have been enough to let you recover from your walk. Well, it's a different sort of tiredness. Ah, sorry, I just thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. If you're tired, you deserve the rest. No, what's up? To be honest, I want to run through some more things with you, but if you're tired, they can wait. What sort of things? It's not kissing practice, is it? No, not this time at least. I promise it's only nice things. Things to maybe help you on your way to land Dean. I looked around quickly to make sure Dean wasn't in earshot, and shot Orlando a look. What, he's into you. If anything, I think he'd be excited to hear you getting ready for him. Hey, yo, kiss a homie. We've been kissing the homies. What makes you say that? With an empathetic sigh, Orlando shook his head and grabbed my arm, guiding me upstairs. Hey! Orlando gently nudged me into my bedroom and closed the door behind us. You didn't have to pull me up the stairs. You aren't putting up much of a struggle. With his hands now off me, he looked me over and I looked back in kind. Whether it was the thoughts he'd put into my head or just the light, I wasn't sure, but I found myself looking him over. As I did, I noticed I didn't really think anything of before. The way he gently flexed his hand, the way the end of his tail twitched, even the roundness of his front that looked inviting to cuddle into. When my eyes came back up to look at him properly, he had a calm smile on his face, almost as if we were having a wordless conversation about admiring how the other looked. If you don't kiss the homie goodnight, are you even a true homie? Then, snapping me out of it, he spoke plainly. So, sex. Don't worry, it's Coke. I blinked, shaking my head. Orlando, why is it? Why do these visual novels keep just giving us? Why do these visual novels keep giving us so many out of context moments? Just like you have a tennis ace. Oh my god, it's so creamy. You got fucking now password. Just also Haya. We also have fucking password. Now going thou. Sex. And now we have fucking whatchamacallit. No, we have that now. Basically the entirety of fucking tennis ace, apparently. It's just why? I blinked, shaking my head. The penis collider. What? Sex? When? I know people can be blunt. There's just so many out of context moments. Oh boy, you are tired, huh? Hey. As Orlando chuckled to himself, I found myself following too, although he was a lot more entertained than I was. Alright, so, what sort of stuff have you done? You're going to ask me that bluntly. No point beating around the bush, right? Penis collision. Well, Nothing, really. Orlando huffed, rubbing his head. Nothing at all? Not with anyone else, no. Oh, God. With yourself? Oh! I felt my cheeks burn under my fur. My tail tucked itself between my legs. You know... Better question. You ever explore your body, see what sort of things you like? Not really. Now do you want to... What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Not even a finger? I've thought about it. Does that count? Oh no, he knows we were on the Funny Blue website. Monosodium glutamate. Oh dear. Alright, well, I didn't think we needed to get into that much detail, but still. Is that bad? I've looked up stuff before, so I'm sort of ready, I guess. Ready how? Well, about how to prepare and stuff, I think I understand that much. So if anything was to maybe happen, I could probably, you know, be ready for the next part. Right. Orlando scratched his head, seemingly thinking something over. After the first minute, I figured to take control of the conversation. As much as I'd like to ask how better to prepare, something else has been bothering me. What is it? Well, it's mostly about you. Me. Yeah, why don't we sit down? I wandered over to the bed and sat down. Hey yo! I'm going to let Amethyst handle that. I wandered over to the bed and sat down, with Orlando following close behind. As he sat down, I noticed he was playing with his hands. So, how are you really, like, with, yeah, I'm just gonna deny it. With, oh, Orlando sighed, shaking his head. This is about what happened with Thal, isn't it? Yeah, like, you're looking out for me as far as setting me up with Dean. Is there anything I can do to, help, return the favor? He smirked for all of a second before his frown sat back in, looking at me briefly before focusing on his hands with his voice held low. No, not really. Oh. I think it's best that I heal a little first before attempting anything again, right? With Sal? No. Oh, no, not at all. That's something I don't want to go anywhere near anymore. Where Sal and I are at is fine as it is. Is there anyone else you like then? What about Haas? As I looked to Orlando with an encouraging smile, it soon faded when I saw his expression. I didn't understand it when it should have been quite obvious. Really? Really what? Don't worry about it. As I went to talk, he put a hand on my shoulder. Tell me, you like Dean, right? Like you actually like him? Come on, Orlando, of course you do. I mean, sure, dating has been hard given, well, ever since Dad, you know. Orlando nodded slowly, staying quiet. But yeah, I like him. He's warm and kind, a bit of a dork. I think we get on well. Your message was way too spicy for Twitch. Right, well, you're lucky. You like him and he likes you, obviously. Sure, but why is that important? Was it not obvious? Not that, just, He patted me on the back, shaking his head, laughing softly. It's not that important. I was going to say that sometimes when you like someone, it's better just let them go. Let them go? Like, don't pine over them, give them their space, don't force them to stay. That sounds like Roswell. Like, he said something along those lines. He did. Yeah, like, hoping someone else notices that they like him as much as he likes them. Something like that, anyway. Oh, not like that. It's more like, loving someone enough to let them freely go after someone else, except that not all love is requited. Oh. He held my gaze and I gulped. That feeling coming back, I felt conflicted. Dave, Sorry, no, don't worry. I'll let you get some sleep now. Orlando hopped up off the bed and hurried towards the door. Orlando, wait! With his hand on the door handle, he froze, still looking forward. I followed him, stopping a few paces away, feeling unsure of what just happened. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? You're acting real funny, Orlando. What's wrong? Again, his hand started to fidget and his voice was quiet. Nothing's wrong. Orlando, come on. Normally I'd get, I don't know, a hug or something. Maybe I'm just a little jealous is all. It's just working out for you and Dean, sort of. Or at least I'm going to be trying to help it work out. But for me, not so much. I'm sorry that things didn't work out with Sal. I gulped, trembling, confused at what was happening. What I should be feeling versus what I was. Still, no. Just no. Still, Orlando wasn't leaving, and I wondered if he was waiting for me to say something more, or to maybe ask something else. Invite him to stay or reassure him. Fuck. Kiss the Lilo and Stitch character. Reassure? Okay. Okay. Things will work out, Orlando. Somehow. I saw his shoulders slump, and as much as he could, he whined. Is there anything I can do? You can depend on me, too. Gotta pay you back somehow, right? Suddenly, he stepped forward and hugged me tight, giving me a gentle squeeze. Orlando? Thank you, Dave. You're sweet, but I think I just need some space to myself for now. As he stepped back, he kissed me gently on the cheek before turning and opening the door. My hand went to my cheek, still sort of stunned as he disappeared out of my room, closing the door behind himself. In a daze, I turned the light off and wandered over to the bathroom. I showered, and stumbling around in the darkness afterwards, I made it to bed enough to slide on a pair of sleeping shorts and cuddling up under the covers. Something felt off. Something was wrong about Orlando's behavior, and my heart hurt not knowing how best to help. If anything, I had more questions than I had answers. The worst of it was, I was finding myself caring less and less about it in favor of just wanting Orlando to be okay. He'd been a great friend to me, and it was confusing as to if I was just as good a friend back. I doubted it. As I cuddled into my pillow, I thought about Orlando, resolving myself to do better in the morning. I'd think of something to cheer him back up. I don't know how long I was asleep for or how quickly I fell asleep once I was conscious of it. When I opened my eyes, I lay there for a few moments, my body feeling like it was underwater. Hey, yo! Body feeling like it was underwater. Like most mornings, I was on autopilot, swinging my legs out of the side of my bed and stretching. Coffee. I liked my room. It was on the top floor of our house, like an attic of sorts, but it was also a bathroom and small study nook. But it also had a bathroom and a small study nook. The whole floor was basically mine, as small as it was. Mom and Dad had downstairs, but that's where the living room, kitchen, and other rooms were, obviously. I was halfway down the stairs before I could smell it, or at least I thought I could smell it, that smoky scent that came with freshly made bacon. It reminded me I was hungry, and as much as I felt a little guilty about eating bacon while also being friends with Roswell, I knew there was only one other person in the house I'd be cooking at this time of morning. As I hit the bottom of the stairs, I became acutely aware of something wrong, though. Something very wrong. Looking towards the kitchen, I gulped, almost scared of who I'd find on the other side of the doorway. I wandered closer, closing my eyes, bracing myself in the doorway. Closer I got, a chill ran down my spine when I could recognize the familiar, cheery humming. The humming stopped, instead with a low chuckle. As I opened my eyes, there he was, standing in front of the stove as if nothing was wrong. What's wrong, sport? You look like you've seen a ghost. He laughed. He was laughing, and all I could do was stand there watching in shock. If my feet didn't suddenly feel weighed down with an anchor, I would have run. Sleep all right? Breakfast's almost done. Take a sheet, and I'll serve you up. Wait, no. No? Well, that's a surprise. Oh, coffee. How could I forget? Like father, like son, right? Give me a shuck and I'll short you out. No, not that, Dad. You what? Have a bad dream? I found myself drawn to the table, and the next thing I knew, I was sitting down, looking at my dad as he continued to work in the kitchen. No! Not a bad dream, I think. I'll be right back. Damn. Then what shut you down, little bean? Sore feet? Toothache? Have a fight with your boyfriend? Wait, I don't have a boyfriend. No? Huh. Could have fooled me. He wandered over, setting down a mug in front of me. The darkest roast of coffee you could imagine. You still look half asleep. Drink up! I reached out for the mug and found it warm, but I frowned all the same. I needed answers. This was so confusing. Dad? Yes, son? What day is it today? Don't really know. Why? I shook my head, opting instead for another approach. What about the date? Don't know that either. Would you believe that I forgot to charge my phone? Mom's already left for work, though, so it's just us today. No, that's not... He doubled back to the other side of the kitchen, bringing over a plate of scrambled eggs and bacon. Sitting next to me, he handed me the plate, and I watched him take the first mouthful. It was less a plate and more like a shared platter of food with how much he made, but Dad was always a fan of big breakfasts. Dad? Yes? What's your name? My name? You know my name, sport. He wiped his mouth with his arm, gesturing at me with a fork. What's your name, then? You should know mine. Already given us the same, bud. I grumbled, folding my arms. That's not what I meant. What's the matter, Dave? Normally we're fighting over the bacon by now, and you haven't even had a banana or touched your coffee, so something's up. I whined, not wanting to bring it up. You're real, right? Like, you're actually here, right? Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Someone looks like she's in need of some fatherly advice, though. And some breakfast, so eat up while I impart upon you some wisdom. I kept my eyes on him as I reached for a banana. I didn't make a move beyond that, still feeling the whole ordeal surreal given how real this all felt. What do you do when life gives you lemons, Dave? Well, you can make lemonade if they're too sour, but I know a few guys who just eat them as is. Embrace what makes them different is all. I don't... No, not relevant here. What about the one about the birds and the bees? Although all things considered, I don't think I need to worry about you fretting over where babies come from, do I? I chuckled as he did as a flinch reaction, fighting it off and trying to remain composed. No, Dad, I just want to know one thing and you have to be honest, okay? Please? Of course, son, anything for you. What's up? I think I'm in trouble. Well, that's not good. What can I do to help? I don't think you can anymore. Because you're dead, right? He just looked at me, unflinched as I asked. He just grabbed a strip of bacon and flicked me on the nose with it before speaking. Now, that's not very nice. Besides, I'm plenty helpful. Reckon I could help regardless of where I am. So, what's got you down? Why are you in trouble? I gulped, whining. Dad, I just have this feeling that I'm going to let someone down. And that they're going to die because of me. Well, that doesn't sound good. What should I do? That's quite the pickle, but if it's that serious, I don't think there's really anything you can do. But what if they die? Everyone dies, son. But if you do your best, I don't think anyone can be bad. I know I wouldn't be. But, Dad, no buts, sport, just do your best. He got up from his chair and wandered over to the kitchen, stopping in front of the coffee pot to pour himself another mug. Now, anything else I can help you with? But maybe make it less heavy if you can. At least until after you've eaten something. I feel like I gave him the wrong voice. I feel like I'm giving him the wrong voice. Because, like, the 1930s announcer isn't working. But maybe make it less heavy if you can, at least until after you've eaten something. Can I have a hug? Ah, is that all? Of course, son. Just a sec. I watched, shaking as he got closer. I closed my eyes, scared of if I was going to feel anything when he reached me. Part of me wanted that familiar touch, but an equal part was worried as to what it'd mean if I felt it at all. His steps got closer, the sound of his footfalls on tile getting louder and louder. But then they stopped. Everything stopped. And when I opened my eyes, I was right where I fell asleep. I looked around the room. I was still here. This mansion seemed like a great idea when we had left home, but now just looking at the bedroom, I hated it. It was a reminder that I was now involved in something that I was only half sure even existed. Death or the risk of it was lingering over us, apparently if what Osmond was saying held any truth. Even then, there were the visions I was seeing whenever I touched the vault. It was enough to make me not want to touch that thing ever again. I swung my legs over the side of the bed and rubbed my neck. It was sore, maybe I just slept funny, but that was hardly the only pain I was feeling this morning given the dream I just had. I got dressed and made my way downstairs. It was earlier than what anyone really should be awake, but I couldn't sleep. Maybe it was before dawn, but I didn't really have the thought to check specifics. When I reached the bottom of the stairs, I yawned, stretching again as I contemplated making coffee and sitting in the dining room. With Benson now gone, it wasn't even an option to expect him to make me one if I asked. Wasn't any guarantee that he would have been awake at this time anyway. Thinking it over again, the thought of coffee had made my stomach churn. It wasn't Dad's coffee, and for whatever reason, my mind decided to play that trick on me. Having anything but his blend wouldn't be as fulfilling. Dave? I looked up, seeing Haas frozen in place, staring at me as if caught off guard. My eyes darted down to the small black device in his hand, and the wire sticking out of it before he shoved it back into his pocket. You're up early. Yeah, what? Why are you up too? What was that anyway? I gestured to his now bulging pocket with one hand while I rubbed my eyes with the other. Oh, nothing important, just something I had to, Haas scratched his chin while he looked me over, looking troubled. Just something I had to take care of. The look I was giving him must have clued him into the fact I wasn't following, or at the very least wanted more information. Just something Benson asked me about, but he isn't even here anymore. He asked me a couple of days ago to do a thing and I'd forgotten. Must have been pretty important for you to lose sleep over it, right? Important enough, at least. Better question, why are you awake? I couldn't sleep. Okay, and the real reason? You seem like you just woke up and didn't want to stay in bed. Which all things considered, I would assume you wanted to stay in bed. What do you mean? You weren't cuddled up all comfy in bed? I was for a bit, sure, but... Not to mention yesterday morning where you slept most of the day anyway. Well, yes, but you're up now because something's troubling you, right? Well, yeah, actually. You gonna be alright? I don't know. Maybe I'll go get some fresh air or something. I should be fine. You sure? I really don't. The next moment, Haas yawned, covering his mouth and stretching his back. You sound like you need sleep. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Well, if you're sure. I'm sure. Promise. If you're certain, I'll see you in a few hours after I've had myself a little cat nap. Night. This is fucked. You know what? I'm just gonna say something. I'm turning on the webcam. I'm turning on the webcam just for this. I just want to say this. Just hearts out for Dave. Just hearts out for Dave. Seriously. Just hearts out for Dave. He was bounding up the stairs before I could get another word in. My eyes were trained on the pocket he'd concealed something in. Oh no! I wondered where it could have been. What it could have been, and what he'd been up to. The morning was crisp and fresh as I stood looking out at the horizon. Perhaps it was a mountain air that made everything seem so alive. I smirked at the irony. Alive? Why was it that it was only recently that the whole concept of mortality was being brought up again? Oh no! Sketch Yeen. Yeah, he's a cutie. Someone's messing with me, right? Sighing out, I ran my hands through my fur, thinking back to my dream. At least I was pretty sure it was a dream. Losing Dad was hard enough, and something that I forced down on a daily basis. Something that just made it easier to cope. I missed him. Every day, I also love his toofs. But now was some cruel reality that had me facing my friends dying too. Not that I didn't have options. Amogus. Yeah, I can add it. No. I could run away like a coward and let this be someone else's problem. As Dad says, everyone dies eventually, right? But could I live with myself knowing that I had a chance to do something and didn't? It was much the same as staying here and risking nothing bad happening. If talking to Oswin had meant anything, and seeing things in the vault, the threat seemed real enough. Which only left one real option, and that was to face this head on. Like father, like son, huh? I smirked for all of a second, thinking about how I unintentionally following Dad's footsteps in some way. Maybe I'd make an alright detective if I could get my nerves under control. Dave. I was roused out of my thoughts with Orlando coming to stand next to me, looking tired. Oh. Hey, Orlando. Morning. What are you doing up? Did you have trouble sleeping? Maybe. What about you, though? You look tired, and about last night. Last night? Oh, that. Orlando sighed out, resting on the railing much like I was, looking out at the trees. I guess I just have a lot on my mind. After everything that's happened so far, and, well, a couple other things, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it just yet. At least, what? I don't know if it's good to talk about yet, but don't worry, I'll be fine, promise. The next few moments we spent in silence, with me being unsure of how to follow that up, given the expression I saw him wearing. What about you, though? I blinked, confused as to what he was getting at. You're up early. Something on your mind? Oh, something like that. Well, come on, what's happening in that head of yours? I've just been thinking about Dad lately. Oh. No, I mean, like, try and follow in his footsteps. Orlando started to fidget next to me, keeping his gaze elsewhere. I figure that's the best chance I've got at keeping everyone alive, if I can even be a little bit like him. That's what you meant? His voice was level and the fidgeting stopped. He seemed almost relieved, even calm. Don't worry about that, Dave. Leave that to me. You don't need to worry about it. I don't? Look, you're too good for this world, Dave. I'd rather you not get your hands dirty and just to stay safe. Come on, let me help. Nope, I have this covered. I grumbled, shooting him a look. I'm sorry, Orlando, but it's not just about you and me. I want to make sure everyone is safe. And if you're doing everything, well, who's protecting you? Orlando's scales flushed red for the briefest of moments, and he cleared his throat, quickly pointing to the rising sun. Look, the sun's rising! He was right. It peeked over the top of the trees before bathing everything in a pleasant glow.
Can we just leave with everyone and leave?
Yeah, that is a good idea. It was warm and calming, but before I could comment on it, Orlando was already on his way inside. I sighed, wondering if I'd said something again. Maybe he was just tired, or maybe it was my own tiredness catching up to me. It was quickly getting to the point that I would be willing to settle for a cup of tea if it meant we could just sit down and talk. I felt hanging out and playing games wouldn't be the most appropriate thing to do here. I spent the next bit watching the world go by, trying to piece together what little I had to go on. If I was going to try and be like my dad, I had best start getting into the mindset. It was quiet, despite having the chance to talk to someone already. I felt slightly lonely. If it wasn't for the faint hum of the coffee machine brewing, I would have been in complete silence. Okay, with Benson gone, I wondered if I'd see more of Oswin around. After all, without a butler, he'd have to show up at some point to get food, right? Would I like to join the Roswell Hate Club? I'll wait on that. I'll wait until we actually go down Roswell's route first. If it's what I think it is,
It's time to drink water.
then
It's
yeah, I'll
time to
join.
drink water.
If it's awful,
It's time to drink
I'll
water.
get back to you on that.
It's time to drink water.
Sudden ding from the machine in front of me signaled that it was done. I'd already prepared my mug, the milk, and had the sugar on standby. Wasting no more time, I poured myself a mug of coffee and sighed out at the familiar scent. I warmed my hands on the mug before me on the counter, letting my mind wander. Should I have just stayed in bed? There was nothing stopping me from going back if I wanted to. Taking a sip from the coffee, I reinforced my decision to stay up and wait for the others to resurface. Chances were that Sal and Haas would be up first, followed by Orlando, then Roswell, Dean, then Tyson, or at least that was my guess. Someone was going to need to sort out breakfast with Benson gone, which was either up to me or I could leave it up to Orlando. Prepare breakfast, yes or no? Yeah, I'm with you there. Just kill Roswell if you have a chance, but you can't. There's no chance to kill Roswell. I took another gulp of coffee before nodding to myself. Making lunch wasn't hard. Breakfast wouldn't be any different. Besides, it was just another thing I could do to keep them together. There were many options of what to do. I could grab all the things out and just do toast and cereal to keep it basic. A fond smile found its way on my face as I recalled the dream I had. While I couldn't do bacon and eggs, I could do the next best thing. Sure, I'd been through this dance once while we were here, so another time wouldn't hurt. Collecting the ingredients wasn't hard. I knew what to look for. Beyond that, mixing the batter up wasn't hard either. Okay, let's get this underway. Pancakes. I remembered once that Orlando kept things warm in the oven, and given how many pancakes I was planning on making, I needed to make sure they stayed that way. Turning it on and putting it at the lowest setting should have been fine. The oven itself had a keep warm setting, so that should have been fine, right? As I cooked off the batter, I just thought of my dad. A goofy smile on my face. Maybe a part of it was how I looked forward to doing this for someone I loved one day. It's such a cute blep! Ah! By the time I was ready, I headed on into the dining room with the pancakes keeping warm in the oven. Oh, good morning, guys. Ugh. Good morning, Dave. Been cooking? Yeah, I figured that I'd try making breakfast for everyone. I'm not sure I'd do, but being in high spirits is nice all the same. Sal, though? I'm fine. Just tired still. Not going back to bed? Or a nap? No, that's more Dean's thing. He has enough trouble sleeping as it is. I'd rather just put up with it for now and make sure I get a decent sleep tonight. Take a minute for the ad. Yeah, also, hiya. So many new people here. Yeah, there's so many new people here. I love it. Anyways. Oh yeah, that whole keeping your sleeping schedule in check. Is that important? Dave, you'd know this if you didn't nap all the time. But napping is good. We chatted for a while, waiting for the others to arrive. One by one, they filed in and sat down, and when everyone was seated, I went in. I was sure I was willing to go through with what I had originally planned. Thinking about it while you're by yourself was one thing, but seeing all my friends at the table, feeling that I alone was responsible for keeping them alive, ugh, I don't feel so good. Hey, yo, what just happened? Stream died. Ah! Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Okay, I'm still going to have to, like, rename a lot. Yeah, it's all automated. What was that, Dave? He said he didn't feel well.
Hello, new poet will join Roswell Hate Club accepting members.
Is it nausea? Stress? You've had coffee, so it can't be that. Sal slid over a glass of water to me and I took it eagerly, drinking quickly. Jeez, what's gotten into you? Maybe it's a combination of things. I promise I'll be fine. I just... fresh air. The moment I stepped outside, I sighed out in relief. Doubling over and supporting myself on my knees, I was panicking and I wasn't entirely sure why. But sure enough... The fuck was that? No kidding. I straightened, cracking my back and sighing out again. You're a fucking dork. Seriously, Dave? You kick up a fuss about just needing some air? Despite the nervous chuckling, I did feel somewhat better getting away from the others, if only for a moment. He'll be fine, he's just a brat. I am not! See? Perfectly fine. Well, alright. Guess we'll head back inside then? Come find us if you need anything, pup. Come on, loser. Here you come, loser pillar man. Wait. Oi! What's a pillar man? Haas was already inside by the time Ty was chasing after him, both of them leaving me to my thoughts outside. I sat down and looked out at the backyard, regulating my breathing, or at least trying to. I was still holding on to a bunch of worries about what I was intending to do. How many fucking ads are there? Son of a fucking bitch. The Yin is just anxiety. There's way too much. There's way too many ads. I swear I'm not trying. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. I seriously don't even know anymore. Don't worry, we're here to help. What? I turned back to look at Roswell and Orlando as they arrived. Oh my god, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. And they sat down either side of me. So, what's got you upset, Dave? Groaning and falling onto my back, I looked up at the two of them. They continued to smile down at me as they were prone to do when they were teaming up to make me feel better. Chocolate? I think I've got some more fruit gummies somewhere if that's better. He doesn't need candy. This is... what is this again? Hoth gave us the signal to go assist. I grumbled, rubbing my face. It's nothing really. I'm fine.
Yeah, like we haven't heard that one before.
Okay, so fine, you got me. Things aren't fine. Did something happen? I mean, did something else happen?
What do you mean something else? Like another vault thing?
Not really. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. What if we can't do this? What if I let everyone down? At the same time, Orlando and Roswell pulled me up, each of them taking a hand of mine to do so.
You won't let anyone down, Dave, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, together we can do anything, but you have to let us help. I was then crushed between them, or rather, I was tackled by Roswell and then squeezed tight by Orlando, throwing his arms around the both of us. It's the friends are for, right? Started off as a chuckle before evolving into full-blown laughter. Maybe I did just need another hug, or maybe it was a reassurance from everyone up to this point that had made it sink in. I wasn't alone.
Someone's feeling better.
Maybe a little. Well, that's a start. But how do we continue? What do you need? I turned to Orlando, flashing him a wry smile. You're not going to like this, but time to make Dad proud. You don't mean...
You two already up to speed on something? I want to know too.
Dave, I don't want another vault thing to happen again. I don't want to see anyone die, so I want to look into what I saw and why it happened. I told you earlier, just leave that to me. And I told you, Orlando, that someone has to keep you safe, and that's going to be me.
Geez, well, if you're doing any investigating, mind if I tag along? You two might need someone more academically inclined after all. I'm sure I can be helpful.
You did not just call a Thidioth, did you?
If that's what you want to take from that, then by all means. But my intention was that while you two are going back and forth about who's keeping who's safe, someone needs to keep a level head. And that's someone? Me, obviously.
Is that okay?
Of course.
Of course it's not! We're not seriously going to... Sorry, Orlando, but I have to, if only to put my head at ease. He grumbled, and Orlando patted me on the shoulder.
Go get ready, and I'll meet you in a bit. I'll find out the details from Orlando, and we'll go from there.
Nodding to Roswell, I gave Orlando one last apologetic look before heading inside. We're going to leave off here tonight. This game is going to be the death of me. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.